I just bought these machines for like $50 over there. Or we're gonna have them for the human piñata party that we're hosting. But the guy that sold them to me is a Satanist, and he lives in Central El Paso. I've seen a pattern of Central El Pasoans being Satanists, and it even goes back to the 80s, because one of the Satanists in El Paso is a serial killer named Richard Ramirez. So this pattern is still going on to this day. Now, none of this shit scares me because I don't think it's real. Like, I feel like it's all bullshit. But I started asking this guy why he was a Satanist. What pushed him into it? And he said that Christianity pushed him into it. He said that when he was a kid, his family was super religious. His mom would always take him to church. And the priest was a certain way inside the church and a different way outside the church. And that it was all a scam. Like, the donation bucket that people would put their money in, the priest would pocket it and use it in his outside life. He said that there was this area in the church where buses would come to drop off and pick up kids. And in that area, there were bishops or whatever the lower rank of, like the one rank below priest is. I'm just going to call them bishops. But he said that there was bishops that were having sex with the girls from the school bus. So it was like from like 8 years old up to teenagers. Some kids got pregnant. So this is a shit ton of like devastating trauma. And I have been red-pilled before. Like, I've seen how shit the system is, how shit the education system, the food system, the pharmaceutical system, how all that shit is corrupt, right? And so I started listening to Andrew Tate. And that dude is someone that sold me an idea of a life that was different from the current system. And even though he was right in some aspects, he was also wrong in some aspects too. But I feel like it's the same thing with Satanism. It's people that have like deep trauma and don't understand it or confront it, so they result to someone with the answer, which is Satanism for them, and for me it's Andrew Tate. Like, for me, my trauma was growing up low income to middle class and seeing my mom struggle all the time, seeing my family struggle all the time. I was blessed to have like shelter and clothes and food, but my family was living paycheck to paycheck. My mom, a lot of her stress came from having to pay bills, being in debt, and not having enough money to pay for either one of those, and also give us the life that she would want to give us. But I didn't understand that as a kid. I didn't understand how she was a victim of the system. She got a bunch of student loans. Even though she was low income, she got a lot of student loans because she didn't know about financial aid. She didn't know about government aid. And to be honest with you, it's a little blurry trying to talk about this because I feel like a lot of these memories have been blacked out due to my anger for it. But whenever I try to revisit them, they're more and more fuzzy. But anyway, so I grew up living in that household, living paycheck to paycheck. And I graduated from high school, but I didn't learn shit in high school. And I was just thinking, what am I going to do with my life? So I asked my mom and my dad for advice. They told me to get student loans, go to college. But what I wanted to do was start a business because as a teenager, the people that I saw were with money were business owners. So that's what I wanted to do. But I went to college and then I started studying business administration, and I realized that I wasn't going to learn shit and I was just going to waste my money because the people that were teaching me hadn't accomplished anything in business. So I'd rather learn from someone that had. And then that's when I started learning from YouTube. I came across Andrew Tate and other gurus, and I did learn a lot of information about how to form the business and how to build demand, how to target a specific demographic. I learned some skills, but I also know that these people knew what they were doing. Like, Andrew Tate isn't that bad because his course was like $50, but a lot of these drop shippers and people that had made it in business were charging thousands of dollars to learn something that you could have learned on YouTube. But anyways, I started going deeper into the rabbit hole of like red pilled, and I started thinking that like there was like a battle between good and evil. Like, it was just Jesus versus Satan type shit. And I don't think that's what's happening. I just think the systems that we have are skewed. They're made to make a lot of money, obviously, and a lot of times they disregard humans in the equation. So we could end up being extinct due to our thirst for greed. But I'm sure the Satanist guy thought the same thing, like he saw Christianity, he thought it was good, and then he saw what it actually was, and it pissed him off, so he resulted to Satanism. I asked him how he got introduced to it. Like, did someone try to bring him in, or how did that happen? And he said that at a lot of heavy metal rock concerts, they would say, "Hail Satan." And so he started reading about it, getting into it, and that's where he got it from. So it's the same thing as today. Like, people that are successful are giving you a different route, and it seems better than the one you were initially introduced to, but it could be equally as bad. I think you have to understand the entire scenario. You have to understand both perspectives and why both perspectives ended up that way. I think it all stems from ignorance as well. Like, a lot of the reasons someone has a radical view is because they know a lot about one side of the story, but probably not the other side of the story. And I think how big institutions enable that is having biased media. I think also the food being cancerous and like poisonous to us affects our ability to think, our cognitive skills. And there was something else I wanted to tell you about the Satanist guy. And this guy was pretty rational. Like, I'm sure that, well, a lot of the points that I was bringing up about how a lot of kids nowadays are lost, and you know, they're swimming in debt, and they're distracted with school, work, and paying off their debt, and they don't have the chance to actually step back and look at how the world works. He agreed with those points, and this dude was rational. I don't think I would expect a Satanist to be rational, but it's just a lot of these people aren't dumb or stupid. They're not dumb or stupid. They're just lost and misguided and damaged inside. I feel like a lot of it comes from unconfronted trauma. And I feel like the emotional intelligence could be one of the solutions for a lot of our communities, especially minority communities, blacks and Mexicans for sure. I also think, you know, financial literacy is something they don't teach us as well. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but it's pretty inconvenient for us as individuals to try to figure everything out on our own. And I just feel like the same patterns keep repeating. Like Malcolm X, oh yes, I'm gonna segue into what I was about to tell you. But this guy was telling me that he was against Christianity's views of like, if someone hits you, you must forgive them. Satanism teaches them that if someone hits you, you get to hit them back. And Fed, what else did I tell you about this guy? That if someone hits you, then you must forgive them in Christianity, but if you should hit them back. What else did I say after that? Did I say something else about comparisons to Christianity versus his views?
Well, that he just saw hypocrisy
Yeah.
in all that, and
No, I'm thinking about something else. There was something else. There was like something about, I'll remember it right now. If someone hits you, you get to hit them back. I just remembered. He also said that Satanism is all about self-preservation, preserving self, and make like fuck everyone else, worry about yourself. That is exactly what Andrew Tate was saying as well. So I feel like the same cycles keep repeating. It just gets modernized, you know, with like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Malcolm X is saying hit him back. Martin Luther King is saying forgive. And you know, Andrew Tate is saying like fuck everyone else, preserve yourself, focus on yourself, and get your dough, get your bread. I think a lack of empathy is going to be the cause of like our extinction, a lack of understanding of each other. And I don't think money is I think the reason we're here is because money is viewed as the most valuable commodity, but in reality it's time. And I feel like if we see time as the most valuable commodity, it'll make us a little more existential about humans, and I feel like it can make us a little more empathetic towards one another. We're not just focusing on how to get the most money, but if we're focusing on